Plains Indian Wars by John Pineski. How to play. This video will cover the setup. It'll cover card activation and movement. So the setup, you have a little diagram here. In St. Louis, you're going to place 1 blue Cavalry cube, 3 brown Settlers cube, and 2 white Wagons cube. And over across the board here in the west, in Sacramento, and there's the diagram, you place 1 blue Cavalry cube and 3 brown Settlers cube. Okay, on the board, and I covered this in the segment on the purple, there's 1 purple in each of the purple regions, the 5 in the north and 2 in Canada. And dropping down to the bottom of the board, 2 in Mexico, and then 1 each in the 5 purple regions. Orange cubes represent the Southern Plains tribes, and there's 1 in each region. In addition to that, you get to place 3 in any one region of your choice. So just for argument's sake, we're going to put 3 more here. And there's 4. Same thing in the north. The green or the Northern Plains tribes, there's 1 in each region. There are 12 regions in the north, 12 in the south. And then in any one, place 3 extra. I just chose randomly the Black Hills, and that would be 4 there. And that's basically the setup. Then you take the cubes, the disc, the colored disc that matches the cubes, and you put them in the draw bag. And then you draw randomly 1 out at a time. Now the game comes with a second set. In case you lose one, GMT provided some backups, but you don't use 2 sets, just 1 set of each color, and it should be 7. So you randomly going to pull 1 out. Now in previous videos, I covered the white wagons. I talked about the black railroads and also purple. So that's going to leave us the Northern Plains is green, the Southern Plain tribes, orange, blue Cavalry, and brown Settlers. So if you draw that, well, first off, at the beginning of the game, each of them has their own deck. Each of those 4 have their own deck. And you're going to draw 3, and keep them separate, cards. And there are 2 types of cards. So we're going to look at those cards. So let's look at U.S. Cavalry. And this is what we call an engagement card. And this is going to be very typical across the board. So there's 3 things on this card that are of importance. First, the number of cubes you can add. This one says 3. Some are going to say 2. There are a few that may say 1. So where can you place those 3 cubes or whatever this part of the card says? So you go to the ready box, and everybody has their own ready box. Purple has a ready box here, blue here, brown here, wagons, white here, Southern Plains orange here, and green Northerns. Now railroad doesn't get their own box. I like to keep a few on both sides. This is sort of the little sequence of play on both sides because the railroads could be built coming out of Sacramento and St. Louis. All right, so draw your 3 cards, and one typical card is what we call an engagement card. The others are event cards for the Blue Cavalry, and for the Indians, they're going to be called War Party cards, and we'll look at those shortly. So these 3, let's grab 3 from the ready box, and you can either place for Cavalry, either in St. Louis, you can put all the cubes in St. Louis and join with these, or you can actually place up to 1 in Sacramento. And it's sometimes good to start building this up because when the railroad is completed, you now have a force here to move out. You can't just ignore this, and when the railroad's built, you don't have any forces or 1, and you only can add 1 blue. So I would just start adding 1 if you are able to, per Blue Cavalry. And so you have a nice sizable force that can come in this direction. All right. What's the other thing? Well, once you place them, you can then activate 2 groups. So initially, there's none on the board, so it's hard to activate. The railroad in Sacramento isn't built, so you really only get 1 group activation. And with influence movement, 1 Blue Cavalry can move along with them 2 brown Settlers. So on Blue Cavalry draw, this is 1 group, and they can move together or separately or in directions. You can drop off, but you can't pick up. And then that tells you how many groups can move. So let's just say, for argument's sake, the game started like this, and you can activate 2 groups. This one can be activated, and this one can be activated. And where they can move, they can all move here, or they can split up, maybe like this. Okay, and the same with the group coming out of St. Louis. They can come out and move into regions or split up. And how far can they move? That would be the third. So they can move up to 2 regions. Now, if you use railroad movement and the railroad is starting to be built along the tracks, and you want to use railroad movement, get this thing built up, it's kind of a quicker way. Think of the railroad as a region. This is going to count you 1 movement, and then coming off the railhead, any adjacent region, that would be 2. So if you only had a card, and I think there's only 2 cavalry cards that have a 1 move up to 1 region, it wouldn't be able to be used for railroad movement because it'll keep you on the railroad. That wouldn't be allowed. So say this card here allows 2 group movements after placing your 3 cubes, and you move up to 2 regions. So this group could actually go by rail, 1 on the railroad, 2 pop out here, and then, well, that's it. They would have to stop. And that's how that works. Let's look at a settler's card. Okay, so this one says place 4 cubes. Now, a little bit differently, we go to the ready box with 4 cubes. Here, may say 3, may say 2, may say 1. You can place them all in St. Louis. Or you can place up to 4 into Sacramento. And if you're doing this, you may want to, for every 2 brown, have 1 blue. So you can use influence movement. And then the second thing is you can activate up to 3 groups. So let's just kind of put some brown on the board here. And here's our situation. Okay, so I could activate this. That would count as 1, and they can go in any direction. Now, you have to stop if you enter an enemy controlled territory. But they could literally do maybe this, this, and this. That's just 1 group movement. I have 3, so I can do 2 more. This one can move, right? Move here, or I could split up, come here. Or I have blue cavalry, so any 2 settlers can influence movement 1, and maybe do this, come with this one. All right, a 3rd group here, you can activate the brown, and if you want, every 2 can take along with them influence movement 1 blue cavalry. And they don't have to all go together. They can split up. So this is 1 group activation, and maybe this group goes here, and then this one goes here. How far they can go? Well, the 3rd box on the card, and this is called a migration card, by the way. The cavalry card is called an engagement card, but they do the same thing. Can move up to 3 regions. So literally, this group coming out of St. Louis, let's move this guy here, and he has to stop because he's entering enemy territory. This one can go 1, and for purposes, let's remove this. 2, can't pick up anybody, and 3 regions. All right, kind of clear the board here. Let's look at the Indian players, the Plains Indians. Okay, green for the northern tribal group. See, it's similar. Now, they're calling it a war party card. Tells you where you can add cubes, how many you can activate, how many groups you can activate, and how far you can move. So very similar, just a different name on the card. So in this case, green can grab 2 cubes from its ready box, and it can place them in the northern plains area that's under control. Now, if you enter, and I got to remove these, but when you place a cube and it coexists with, during movement, with an enemy, the green or the orange, then you have to conduct an engagement. And so there's no situation where blue and brown can coexist at the end of a turn with green and orange. An engagement would take place until one side eliminates the other or retreats. So in a scenario such as, let's just do this and this, okay, where can green place his two cubes? Well, anywhere here, but not here, because it doesn't control this. And looking at the Southern Plains card, this is a War Party card also. Add 3 cubes, activate up to 3 groups, and move up to 2 regions. So you go to Ready Box, you get 3. Where can you place them? Anywhere in the orange controlled territory. And let me cover this. If it's blank, it's still orange control, so you can place them there. So we can place them here, anywhere here, but not here. So let's place them, just for argument's sake, here. And then you can activate up to 3 groups. This is the orange card. It's their turn. We're simulating. So let's activate this one, and we move them in here and conduct an engagement. Let's add some reinforcements, and let's see, they can move up to 2. So we can grab this guy and go 1, 2. That's 2 activations. And then maybe this guy, 1, 2. That's 3 group activations, and we would conduct an engagement here. So laying them out on the board, or off the board. Blue Cavalry, engagement. Settlers brown, migration. Northern Plains, War Party. Southern Plains, War Party. They do the same thing. Placement is a little bit different, but the movement activation is the same. Now let's talk about event cards, because these come up also. And I'm not going to go through each one, but one I'm going to say right off the bat, whenever you draw this initial one, you have to play this immediately, and then after you play it out, you draw up from your deck to have 3 cards. Always at the end of your turn, you draw back up to 3 cards. So that's the Custer card. So here's what we call an event card. And event cards, you just read it. You can usually, it'll tell you when you can play it. This one says before a Southern Plains, this is drawn. Some might say after, but you can play, you need to play at least one of these engagement, migration, or War Party cards on your turn, depending on what color disc, what faction you are. But as far as the events, since you have 3 cards, you can have up to 2 events. And you can play up to 2 events. So the most you can play is 3 cards. 1 engagement, no more than 1 engagement, and up to 2 event cards. And then you can refresh your hand. And one of the triggers to the game is depletion of the card deck and playing. So if you're playing your event cards out, whether you can use them or not, you're speeding up the end of the game, and that may be advantageous for you, maybe not. All right, so that's the difference. Now, some of these event cards are enduring, and this one's is not enduring. It's gonna play out in a engagement where the defender rolls no defense the first round. But let's look for maybe an enduring event and show you the difference. All right. Bear with me here. Okay, this one, Sheridan, says the defender rolls no defense first round. This one says remove 2 casualties from the game. Indians, no more. Okay, just reading through here. Plenty coup. No retreaty symbols. Indian cubes roll no more than 2 dice. Okay. And of course, we did the Custer card. Looking for a good example of an enduring event. Settlers. So here's an event, and it says, okay, that's an immediate event when you play it. Okay, No, James Beckworth, no engagements against wagon trains for the remainder of the current disc draw. Now what that means, this is enduring event. You don't discard this card. You keep it up until all of the discs are drawn and played out. So you want to, if the brown disc came out early in a turn, you may want to play this because it's in effect for all the rest. Now let's say both the northern and southern disc had come out, and then the brown comes out. Well, it's probably not a good idea to play this because they have finished their turn. I'm trying to play this to prevent an engagement against the wagon trains. So that's an example. Let's look for an enduring event, or actually just an event of the Plains Indians. Sitting Bull, play before any war party card or the Cavalry disc. Okay, it's going to tell you when you can play this. Add 4 cubes to 1 northern ring. Cavalry must be attacked this turn. Well, that's all right. So that occurs that turn. It's not enduring. And this one's an enduring. Red Cloud. Add 3 Northern Plain tribe cubes to 1 NPT regent. Settlers roll 1 die in any engagement for the remainder of this draw. So this is a card that green would want to play early. You're looking at something where if you came out last, maybe it's not the best time to play it, but if green came out early in the disc draw, it's going to stay in effect for all the rest of the disc draw, and it could affect the settlers. And settlers may be in an engagement with cavalry. So if cavalry's drawn after or settlers drawn after, it would be maybe a good time to play that. Okay, that would be an enduring event. You do not discard this. You keep it out on the table or next to the table, and when the entire turn is over, when all 7 discs are drawn and played out, then you can discard it. And orange, Southern Plains, Mangus Coronados, get 2 cubes. The remainder of this disc draw, the first battle round, settlers do not defend. This is enduring. So if you play this, you keep it out, and it's good for the remainder of the disc draw. Don't discard it until the entire 7 discs have been drawn and played out. So there are event cards on all 4 factions. And then you have your activation movement cards, which they're called differently by each faction. Engagements, migration, or war party cards. And that's the different types of cards. I believe I went over the influence movement. So an influence movement, 2 brown can influence movement 1 blue. 1 blue can influence movement 2 brown. And you want to bring in purple, which I discussed. 1 blue can influence, well, can't have them that far out. Purple can be only adjacent to purple or in purple. But 1 blue can influence 1 purple, or 2 purple can influence 1 blue. And I think that's probably about it on as far as activation, card draw, setup is concerned. Okay. I might have missed a couple of things. If you have any questions, feel free to make a comment. Thank you.